Hey y'all, Bearded Bros Golf Show. Marcus just does not know how to run on time.
It was his
So,
fault. This dude doing so much shit in the background. My lord, ain't no
what?
telling when he was gonna finally show up.
And has he volunteered to help out with any of the background? No,
He has
but
not passed
no.
any of this power to me. I am still special guest in this show. I want y'all to know that. Just an FYI. I
Whatever,
want y'all to know that.
whatever. All right, y'all. PGA Championship weekend, a lot. That's all we're gonna hit. I mean, it's kind of like the Masters. We hit it super heavy on the Masters. A lot of topics to talk about. We will probably sidebar a few things here and there, but we got a heavy list that's already kind of planned out. So welcome on in. I don't know if we didn't introduce ourselves. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus, the early one today.
Whatever. First time ever. So
No,
Scotty. Let's get to the business. Scotty ends up winning his third major. We said it at the beginning of the year. Um, I wanted to see him win outside of Augusta National, outside of the Masters. To me, that's that next step in his career. Um, I had a saved Instagram post that said, "When does he win the Open Championship, U.S. Open? Excuse me, oh U.S. Open." And it kind of laid out the next five U.S. Open sites. I think he's actually got a good chance of doing it this year at Oakmont. If he can get the game together, because as the theme of the show so lays out, I don't think he had his best game at all this week, and the stats bear that out. Um, there's some strokes gained stats that he did pretty well on, but the driving wasn't as spectacular as usual. Just kind of felt off the first day and a half or so. Spectacular Saturday afternoon, back nine, tore through the field at that point, and then kind of held on Sunday. But yeah, give me your thoughts on Scotty's win. How do you think his game shaped up? And what do you foresee for the remainder of the season?
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't know. I think Scotty played well. Now, it wasn't the best presentation, but he played well when he needed to, which means overall he played good. I mean, Thursday he had the top group, 1, 2, and 3 all played together, official world rankings. He shot the best number by and far, shot the best number in his group, easy
Yep.
2 under 69. And that was with what we're going to discuss later on in the show. Plenty of mud balls, plenty of conditions that were not in his favor or in his control. Unfortunately, it was a bad judgment. Really, everybody should have been playing ball in hand from the fairway at least.
Yep.
I mean, Monday, Tuesday,
But
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, hella
lift clean in
rain.
place for the uninitiated. Lift clean in place, as you call it at home.
Right. So, yeah, so he fought through it, and literally his press conference was the best. We got on to Jordan Spieth about it at the Masters. He just really seemed a lot more entitled about it, a lot more bratty about it when Spieth was talking about it, referring to it. Felt like Scotty really had a mature response to it, and like I just said, he had the game to back it up because he didn't let it
Yeah.
affect him. Still went out there and shot him an under par number and kept himself right in the fight. Had a nice little even par round or one or two under round for that next day. Put himself in the battle. Third
Yeah.
Saturday, I mean, bro. So there was a Instagram clip that came out. I mean, essentially, he gained 6 strokes in the last like 5 holes. So he essentially hit 8 perfect shots, is what they were saying. But
Right. Right.
I mean, it was insane. I mean, I mean, 14 was perfect. 15 was an easy birdie. 16 he parted, and then birdie. I mean, bro had the putter going. 17 was like a 30 footer. 18 was not a gimme. It was a left or righter. I mean, Scotty showed why he's
Yeah,
deservedly the number one golfer in the world. Um,
right. Well,
do I
let
think
me get into some of the stats. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, and then let me get into some of the stats. Finish your thought.
Yeah, just to finish, I don't know if he necessarily continues this into the US Open, but do I think he trends the correct way and ends up carrying this throughout the season, like into the playoffs, into the Ryder Cup that we have going on later this year? Yes, I think he is the big dog on campus, and I think that he is going to carry that momentum throughout the year. Do I think he wins another major? I don't know. That's a lot of that's a lot of pressure, and it's only for every year for a reason.
Yeah. So just the stats that stood out to me that showed that he wasn't playing to the top of his game. Usually driving is one of his strengths, right? That's what we look at. Why he's been able to dominate at the Masters, even though the fairways are generous, and the first cut is not penalizing at Augusta National. But again, we had pretty decent rough out here this week. His driving accuracy is what stood out. He was T30th for the week, 62.5% accuracy. Driving distance, 31st, which he's never the longest. So that's respectable. Longest drive, tied for 34th. Longest drive was 343 this week. Green and regs, 2 T6. Scrambling was interesting, T35. He did have quite a few bogeys on the card throughout the week.
Yeah.
Definitely, it was a struggle for most folks. Getting up and down, a lot of long par fours out there. Tempting. 14 was that tempting driving hole where everybody's pretty much playing as a really long par three. Sand save opportunities T13. Now, where he really did stand out was in the scoring. Despite not driving it incredibly well, he was able to have total birdies per round, tied for first on the average, 4.75 birdies per round. Total birdies, T1, 19 for the week. Total eagles had two, again tied for first. Par threes, he was T13, par fours first, and then T5. So scoring is where he kind of wrapped it up. He was able to scratch. I would say, like I said, I want to say Saturday really carried a lot of these stats from a birdie standpoint. I mean, it really got hot. Like you said, pretty much 8 perfect shots during that closing stretch, but it just didn't look great. Like you said, that first round on Thursday, watching him with Xander and McIlroy, it was pretty painful, man. Even the Friday turnaround, a little bit of a struggle. You
Yeah.
mentioned kind of later in the year and him rounding into form. The reason I think he has a really good chance out at Oakmont is I think about the last time that it was played there. It was Dustin Johnson hitting those majestic fades at that time. And it
Yeah.
very much
Faders
reminds
golf
me
course.
of, say that again?
It's a Faders golf course. Yeah. But I
Right.
mean,
So I think that sets up well for his game, especially if we're just now seeing, I mean, reminder of his setback earlier in the year with the cut hand and how he's kind of just really getting into the meat of his season versus this is kind of the play that we saw into the Masters last year.
I think I just really think there's so many great drivers of a golf ball as of recent that I don't think just because it's set up for a fade or set up for a left or right shot, that's the only, competitor there that's, in play. That's all I was saying. I mean, I do agree that a fade will favor you is if it's your natural shot shape and stuff like that, you don't really move the ball a lot. But, when you're, carrying the ball far as hell and Oakmont really doesn't have too tight of fairways. I think, a player like a Xander Schauffele could still get away with it.
Yeah.
Rory could still get away with it. High carry numbers.
Yeah,
Really,
but I'm thinking approach game as well. I mean, would you take Scotty's faded irons against anybody else in the field? You're going to pick him more than likely, right? Him versus the field.
that spin rate, that's controlling your ball going into these, 15 step greens, these fast ass greens. Um, But again, if you're playing with a bomber of the golf course, like even like a DeChambeau and his complaining ass, if you hit the ball far enough, you're gonna have a wedge or a 9 iron or a pitching wedge or something that you can control more than these guys that are gonna be coming into the green like a JJ Spawn. It's gonna be coming in with 5 iron, 6 iron, and stuff like that. You're gonna be able to control the ball a lot easier, even with it being a draw compared to a fade, just because of the spin rate and the club that you'll be using. Like I said, I get where you're coming from, but I think it a place like Oakmont and it being the U.S. Open is going to open it up for a lot more players. And
Of course.
ultimately, you're still going to have to get off the tee because the rough is going to be roughing. It's already up. You saw it from the content creators that drop videos and stuff on YouTube or whatever. I mean, the rough was at 4 inches or something like that already a month away. So,
Okay,
yeah,
I hear what you're saying, but who else do you put up there that is playing well enough right now? So we just saw Scotty. I hate that he ended up giving back that stroke on 18 yesterday, but essentially the tournament was over, right?
yeah.
Him going into 18 with a 6 stroke lead. Who else in a week where visually it did not look like the game that we've seen from him at the top when he's playing incredibly well. Who else do you see right now that has it in them, trending in the right direction, and also the ability to move it both directions that can compete with him right now? Who do you see that's out there? I like Xander. I like Rory, but something was up with Rory, and we'll get into his driver here in just a little bit and his stats. But we found out both Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy ended up having their drivers tested and removed due to the face and being too thin for competition. Um, Clearly, I want to, we'll look at we'll look at the stats for Rory, but clearly it affected him much more than we saw with Scotty this week. We saw Rory try to put the new lineup of tailor-made drivers in the bag earlier this year, and then go back to what he was playing last year. What do you think about Scotty's adjustment on the fly to be able to adjust and still get the win with a new driver in play?
I mean, I really think that's more just grit than anything. I mean, that's I don't know, bro. I feel like if you're competing at this level, you're gonna be able to adjust on the fly. You're not gonna shoot the same. You're not gonna. It's not gonna take you 72 holes for you to adjust and be like, oh, I was swinging like this for the first 71 holes. The 72nd hole, let's try this. I mean, these guys are so fine tuned that something like that shouldn't really affect you. But again, when you're using a new club that you haven't put into play, then yeah, that's going to affect you a little bit more. I mean, your confidence level isn't going to be there. Your spin numbers probably isn't going to be there. I mean, was he able, when did they test him? Did they test him Wednesday?
Uh,
Did they
I
test
want to say it was
him?
Tuesday. It was Tuesday, I believe.
So it was still raining. Did he get a chance to take it out? Did he get a chance to use it? Was he flying it the same? Did it have the same acoustics? I mean, these guys are so, that's probably one of the things they're more OCD about is the sound, the look, and everything like that. So I don't know. I mean, we don't play at that level. So being a +6 or +7, your driver sound and your driver look might be all the difference that they need. So maybe he finds a
Mm.
QI10 dot at the crib that's more conforming to USGA, keeps it in play, uses it for the U.S. Open. Maybe he goes and wins. You just never know. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
go
not
back to.
diminishing Scotty at all. Scotty definitely
I
is numero uno.
I want to give you credit because I'm looking at our picks for the year. Um, do you happen to remember who we picked for the U.S. Open?
Of course not.
Okay, you picked Scotty Scheffler for the U.S. Open, and I picked Matthew Fitzpatrick. So I feel good about Fitzpatrick. His game
He's
finally
trending.
trending. in the right direction. Finally able to kind of they kept talking about how he's had gains in speed this year in the last couple of years, and finally kind of putting his game back together. So it was good to see him trending. Because I don't know. Like I said, I think the kid winning a couple of years ago was not an accident. I
Right.
really do like Fitzpatrick's game, but yeah, give yourself some credit. I mean, I'm more confident in Scotty now going into the latter half of the year than I was, when we were in the Masters, just
Yeah.
because again, I still, to a certain degree, probably people are going to disagree with this. I still think there's an intimidation factor that Scotty has started to establish himself as. I mean, we heard Tony Finau say it in the presser leading up to Sunday that Scotty doesn't back up when he has the lead. And I truly believe that. And I think that's in
Yeah.
starting to become part of players' psyche when they see Scottie Scheffler at the top of the leaderboard, that it's going to be a tough Sunday for them to chase him down or whatever the case may be, that he's not going to come back to the field and
Facts.
play himself out of it. So I
No,
think he's
agreed.
proven that.
I mean, you saw the boys was pressing. They was pressing. I mean, you just looked at those two golfers that are, on that other tour. You saw how quickly they fell back. But I mean,
Right.
you got guys like JT Poston. JT Poston made like 5 or 6 pars in a row where he had birdie looks. Like we're not talking like 40 foot, like I'm on the green and regulations. Reasonable PGA professional looks, 15 or 20 feet, you know,
Yeah.
10 feet, some looks. The greens weren't too crusty. The break wasn't too
No,
insane. It wasn't even like, I mean, you're not no double breakers or anything like that. I felt like they had a
I think the
really good camera view of a lot of JT Poston's putts, unfortunately. And you're looking at them and you're seeing it from the ground view. They like it was like a little nice little 4K view. So you're seeing them and they're just barely missing, which is the game. It's marginal, but you know,
yeah. I think it's interesting. Like, it's probably the time of the year because it's early spring that it seems like the PGA Championship courses have been typically pretty soft. At this time of year, getting a lot of rain early on in spring. Last year in Valhalla was very wet. A lot
yeah,
of the ability to even though the greens are running really fast, they are receptive. They do hold. I mean, there were some tough greens out there to hold, but overall, you saw guys in there being able to get a lot of spin and not have rollout or not be able to hit their marks or whatnot. So it's very interesting when you look at this time of year that we see quite a few soft golf courses. Like you said, it wasn't crispy. They don't lose control of the golf course. Now, U.S. Open next month could be something different. We're
right.
getting into the summer. Could be, hot and fast and dry. Again, we'll see what those conditions look like. But typically, U.S. Open runs a little bit hotter than the PGA Championship. But overall, what do you think about Rom? I know you kind of just touched on it. Rom's run. We saw DeChambeau on Saturday trying to press the issue. Didn't really pan out. I think it came down to that par three that things fell apart for him putting it in the water, having the double bogey and then the bogey on
Yeah.
17.
I think John Rahm really lost the tournament on 15. Um, 14, it's a tough drivable par four. You put yourself in a bunker, you got a 20, 30-yard bunker shot to that back left pin. That's a tough pin. So, you know, not going to really tell you that you're losing strokes on that tough one when you put yourself in the bunker. But 15,
Right.
which has been pretty much a birdie hole every day of the week, for you to walk out of there with a par after being greenside and two, you striped it off the tee, you pounded a 3 wood into the green. You kind of got unfortunate with the little chase through the green. So you had a little bit of an awkward lie. But I don't know. These guys are going real foolproof. And so he used the putter from off the green. Didn't judge
Yeah.
it correctly. Went up, went down, went past the hole, 12 feet. Didn't even touch the hole coming back on the birdie putt. You lost it. You lost it right there. You lost momentum. So
Yeah.
now, 16, you press it. You angry. You swing harder. You trying to get it closer. Now you in the rough.
Right.
Now you in the rough with no control. You lay it up. You end up having to lay up. You lay up in the bunker. Bunker shot isn't good. You miss the putt. Then you turn into John Rahm. You slap the leg. You put the putter on your thigh. Now you confused at what happened with the break. You lost the
Right.
tournament on 15, bro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I will say, as you mentioned, it was very heartening to see a lot of putters off the green that the pros are not always pulling wedge, and those green complexes were very tightly mown. I mean, it was
yeah,
hard to tell the difference between the fairway cut and the green. Sometimes it was very nippy out there.
yeah,
So
they play a
heartening to see
different
them
game than us,
tuck the
though.
egos away. Say that again.
I mean, they play a different game than us, though. They play on different courses than us. I mean, that's one of the commendable things that I would say that Bryson DeChambeau has brought to the surface as
Yeah.
a YouTube famous guy playing on these break 50, agenda that he has going on. When you're out here on these public courses and you see the lies and you see the conditions from tee to
Right.
green, like you understand why people are playing the way that they play. If I played on the courses that they played, oh yeah, I'd be putting it off the green too. I'd be
I
putting
know.
it on those
I thought you
courses.
were about I thought you were about to go Michael Block on me. If you were about to say something about if you played on those courses, you'd be scoring like I
Hell
thought you were about to
no.
go Michael. But I agree. So did you
Hell
see?
no.
Have you? There's the most recent one, and I guess when people say, "Oh, my FYP, my For You page is getting too local." So when Bryson's playing these DFW area courses that I've played before, very interesting to see how the dynamic works. I don't know when he filmed his most recent one at Riverside, kind of Arlington Grand Prairie area, but they had POA all over the greens, and it's not like that right now. So it was very interesting to see that, and like you said, some of those lies that we get on these average courses are very dodgy. So it's good to see him give deference to the amateur golfer. He's like, this is hard golf. Like this is
Right.
really a different game. Let's see here. We talked about this. Oh, DJ, we're gonna go in on Blocky.
We got
Why
a
do y'all think the
segment,
PGA
brother.
we didn't do left clean in place knowing the amount of rain they received before the tournament started? So let's get into that. You mentioned it earlier. We saw Jordan Spieth complaining about the mud balls at the Masters. Here we have essentially, Scotty saying the same thing, more articulate. And this is why I've started, I know a couple of years ago when Scotty started coming up, there weren't a lot of fans of Scotty. I'm really been impressed by his presentation, all the things that he's gone through, the arrest last year, how he's handled it, and it not feeling like it's been public relations and spin. He just feels like an adult that knows how to handle situations. So
Yeah.
here he is. I'm going to pull this up.
I mean, by the way, this is going to be the last answer that I give on playing it up or down. I mean, I don't make the rules. I think when you're looking at the purest forms of golf, I think, like, if you're going to go play links golf, there is absolutely no reason on a links golf course you should ever play the ball up. It doesn't matter how much rain that they get. I mean, the golf course could be flooded underwater, and the ball's still going to bounce somehow just because of the way the turf is and the ground underneath the turf. In American golf, it's significantly different. When you have overseeded fairways, that aren't sand capped, there's going to be a lot of mud on the ball, and that's just part of it. And when you think about the purest test of golf, I don't personally think that hitting the ball in the middle of the fairway you should get punished for. And on a golf course as good of conditioned as this one is, this is probably where a situation in which it would be the least likely difference in playing it up, because most of the lies you get out here are all really good. And so I understand how a golf purist would be like, oh, play it as it lies, but I don't think they understand what it's like literally working your entire life to learn how to hit a golf ball and control it and hit shots and control distance. And all of a sudden, due to a rules decision, that is completely taken away from us just by chance. And in golf, there's enough luck throughout a 72-hole tournament. I don't think that the story should be whether or not the ball's played up or down. I think when I look at golf tournaments, I want the purest, fairest test of golf. And in my opinion, maybe today the ball should have been played up. But like I said, I don't make the rules. I deal with what the rules decisions are. And I could have let that bother me today when you get a mud ball and it cost me a couple shots. But it cost me, possibly 2 shots on one hole. And if I let that bother me, it could cost me 5 shots the rest of the round. But today, I was proud of how I stayed in there, didn't let it get to me, and was able to play, some solid golf on a day in which I was kind of a bit all over the place and still post a score.
The maturity level is insane, bro.
It really is. I mean,
is insane.
I really enjoy hearing him speak, and I think again we've seen more exposure to him because of the winning. Seeing him talking to Amanda Balionis after the rounds as well. Just again, an adult handled that properly. They're all playing under the same conditions, right? So while I don't think any of us agree with the decision to play it down, that they're all going to have to encounter those circumstances. I will say another dumb rules conversation was Shane Lowry ended up in another player's divot. And I think Lou Stagner, which he's becoming one of my favorite follows on X, formerly Twitter, just talked about how all the other circumstances that could have given him relief. I mean, his ball literally was in it looked like a pitch mark from a previous ball, just unfortunately ended up in it. Had it been his own pitch mark, he could have gotten relief from that. Had it been an embedded ball just through regular flight, could have gotten relief. All these other scenarios. So he ends up chunking it, missing the cut by 1 stroke. And you can easily trace it back to that decision versus had he been able to take relief, move the ball to the side. This is again where golf gets in its own way, and this over reliance on the rules and the lack of common sense rulings that come from these officials. I get it. It's a major. You want to call in a rules official. I wish there could be more of the honor of the game where he confers with his, playing competitors and are like, hey, I'm cool with it. You cool with it? Let's let them take a relief and move on about their day. But I totally get staying within the spirit of the major championship. But I thought that one was a little bit dodgy, as well as not being able to lift clean in place.
I mean, to answer the question, Mike, why do I think they did? I guess it has to go to the pureness of the game. But I don't know, bro. Like I said before, we all look at the weather. We're golfers now. We look at the weather. We look at the Weather Channel. We read the reports. We saw how much rain came down. We saw the rainfall numbers. And when it rains Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then the sun barely comes out Wednesday, I don't think with a course that thick of grass is going to sit here and drain as well as it could or should, as Scottie mentioned, in a link style course, a little bit more sand based, a little bit more way for it to drain properly. It's just there's just no way around it. So why they did that, it's just got to be to the pureness of the game. Other than that, it's really just stupidity. There is no other good reason for them to play for them to play the ball down on a situation like that. I mean, to me, it's you know what I'm saying. To me, it's honestly like me and Rod will play early. Mike is in my golf group. We play early. It's the same thing. If I'm in the fairway and my ball has grass on it, it's 7:20 in the morning. It's due. It's gonna collect some wetness. I'm gonna pick it up and wipe it off and then place it back down. It's the same kind of. To me, it's the same situation. If it's early in the morning, if it's a little dew on the ground, put the tee in the ground, wipe it off, put the ball back down. Same can be said about mud balls, bro. Again, get it in their
because the
own
guys
way. Just put it in the
because the
road.
guys in the guys in the afternoon are going to get completely different conditions, and I mean, they say it's luck of the draw. Yeah, they're going to reverse it, and the next morning you're going to be out early. But like you said, the Thursday groups that are coming in right after the rain, really we're at a disadvantage
True.
as it relates to the conditions versus later in the afternoon. They got good weather the entire length of the tournament, so the afternoon late starting guys definitely got an advantage on the conditions. I'm sure there was a significant amount of drying that occurred from that morning wave to the afternoon. So yeah, I think
Right.
it's a bonehead decision. I think we've seen a lot less of these in recent years. For years, I know when we first started playing and I was paying attention, that there were a lot of rules controversies that kind of marred the results of tournaments. So I'm kind of glad we've gotten away from that. But every
Yeah.
once in a while, PGA, USGA will trip over their own feet with some of these decisions. So let's
Yep.
get into the slideshow. Got a lot of things to cover from here. Let's hit the live guys first and kind of their results, and we'll come back to some of the Rory driving results because I do want to touch on the stats there. So they had 16 guys in the tournament, and if you can guess the first gentleman here on the upper left-hand side, I got your dinner next time I see you.
That's the um.
You got to give me a name.
That's John Catlin.
All right, you got it. So of the cut
Yeah.
players, he was the best out of those. Pat Reed, Dean Burmester +6, Cam Smith +7, a young Martin Keimer here +8, sane looking Phil Mickelson at +9. Same thing for Brooks Koepka. That was poor. And DJ, surprisingly, DJ at +12. They had all these videos of him working out, and they were putting out all kind of content the week of with DJ. I think he just started training that week because, bro,
Yeah.
+12 for a former major winner. The fall off for DJ has been probably one of the saddest. I mean, the guy was killing it
Yeah.
prior to leaving for Live, but the fall off has been very precipitous. So yeah, what do you think, man?
Um. Yeah. Unfortunate. Personally speaking, we had just went through and we saw the guys that all the pros that were playing GT series. 5 out of the 8 guys is playing the GT series, and they couldn't drive it to save their lives. Patrick Reed's in the GT, Cam Smith in the GT, Martin Keimer's in the GT, Brooks and DJ both in the GT. None of them could hit that the side of the planet. But I think they showed. You know what? I don't want to be a diss. I don't want to diss them this time because a lot of the players did. I mean, eight did make the cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
half
they
of
they were
half the Live
50%.
guys. Yeah, we still don't know how John Catlin got exempted into this event, but
Literally no clue.
um, I was not able to find that. Just a quick little blurb here on Brooks here on this next slide. This is his results since he won that PGA Championship in majors since that point. So shortly after the 23 U.S. Open T17, which is his best result immediately after his PGA Championship win that year, 2 years ago. Then a T64 in the Open, T45, T26, T26, T43 at the Open last year. And then the last two, the majors this year, cut and cut. Um, I'm a Brooks fan. People don't like Brooks. I think there's like no in between on Brooks. You either like him or you don't. I like the swagger. I used to love the whole show up mentally prepared for majors.
Yeah.
Put on the game for the big show. I respected that. And he was never shy about saying, I don't give a damn about these regular season events. I'm showing up for the big stuff. And he was
Yeah,
able to back it up, right? He's got 5 majors under his belt. But, I mean, these results are what they are, right? I mean, he
yeah,
just doesn't look like himself. Doesn't look to be in great shape that we've seen him in. So the big game Brooks is not there right now.
yeah. We're kind of fading off into the sunset right now, my boy.
Yeah. So I would honestly love to see these guys teeing it up a lot more often, um, and playing. So let's get into the next half of the live guys. Again, older pictures. Young Bryson here from ESPN's Headshots. T2. Him and I think it was two other guys, tied for second.
Yeah,
Had a strong showing on Saturday. Really, really pressed the issue again until he got to that par three, as we discussed earlier. I saw an incredible breakdown from Paul McGinley shortly after that round, just talking about his really inability at this point to hit a fade and press it up against the wind, coming out the right. He just does not have that shot in the bag. So right now, if it's a right to left wind, he's going to tend to overdraw it. We saw that come out in the Masters as well, where he was having a really hard time not overdrawing it. It just
yeah,
was hard for him to control. And a throwaway comment from Brandel Chambly that he said he believes that if week in, week out, DeChambeau had to play against Scottie Scheffler, he would figure it out. He would be forced to, essentially. So with
yeah,
them only playing together 4 times per year, and then now probably later in the year, they're going to probably end up being teammates on the Ryder Cup. Um, the pressure's not really on him. The courses that they're playing on Live probably don't demand. I shouldn't say probably. I've watched enough of it. They don't demand that of your game. you can you can take some shortcuts. They're not playing
yeah.
these tour level courses, and I saw an interesting argument from one of these Live fan pages on X saying, clearly the PGA Tour is not preparing their players for majors. Scottie Scheffler won. Live players were 5 strokes back. I just don't like that disingenuous argument. What do you think of DeChambeau's showing? I know you've already kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, but just to reiterate.
I mean, I think honestly, he doesn't even really need to learn how to hit a fade. If he can hit a knockdown shot or be able to not overdraw it, but again, when your game is essentially clubbing down and just swinging harder on these crazy lofted clubs, trying to hit a
Right.
8 iron 195, trying to hit a, you know what I'm saying? My fault. No disrespect, Bryson. Not trying, doing, because I'm not
Yeah.
hitting an 8 iron 190, hitting your 9 iron 175, 180 on the fly. Hey, all kudos to you. But when you cannot control it, when it matters most, what does it matter? Scottie Scheffler hitting a buttery cut on number 17 into the breeze. He going over the flag. What's wrong with playing safe with a 7 iron and just hitting a little knockdown, hitting a little floaty joint into the middle of the green, playing safe, and then you're such a scientific putter, make you some putts. But
Yeah.
when you're on when you're on great putting services on on major championship caliber courses, and you're not practicing on that or playing on that week in and week out, flaws are going to be shown. So all of this
Yeah.
grain and reading that you're
Yeah.
trying to do, you're seeing it. You're seeing it. So now you're looking like Rom with the hands in the air and the slapping of the thigh because you're confused at the break.
Frustrated.
That's not going to
Yeah.
cut it, bro. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah,
And
kudos
his
to him for
gapping,
fighting.
yeah, but his gapping's got to be crazy. And I think that's why he, especially in his latter years before he left for Live, like he would always be at the bottom of the stats when it came to like inside of like 150, just because I mean your gap wedge is probably going, 150, 160, a
160
pitching
low
wedge is
key.
160, something crazy, right? So
Yeah.
when you're in between, how do you manage that? Yeah, it's tough, right? He doesn't seem to be a fan of the half shot or the 3/4 swing. So yeah, just adding a few more shots, like you said, just a straight knockdown shot, where it's not going to be touched by the wind. He's got to add some elements to the game. And there were some comments that came out, I think it was today or late Sunday, about the ball and him complaining about ball
Man,
manufacturers. And
whatever.
I
Whatever.
didn't want to get in. I didn't even want to get into that. It's worth a mention, but in terms of like credence, this very much reminds me of when he was with Cobra, and they were pretty much throwing every dollar of R&D into trying to get something that worked for him, and he was still dissatisfied with the product, even though he was their main feature athlete, and they were doing everything that they could to make that relationship work. Again, he's not sponsored by anybody from a ball perspective, so I mean, he's throwing that out there like, oh, develop something for me, but he's so unique, right? And then he tried to like include Rory in that comparison, saying, oh, these guys with ball speeds of 190, it's hard for us to control it. Rory's been able to figure it out. Now, this week was a tough week, but Rory overall, even with that high ball speed, has been able to figure out getting a driver in the fairway for the most part. So this seems
He
like a
better
one
switch
of
over to
one.
Max Plot Tour.
That's
Shoot.
right. Right. This seems like a problem, one of one for Bryson. So I didn't want to put too much stock in that, but just saw that and thought I'd mention it.
Yeah.
T8 for Rom and Neiman, respectable. I was kind of surprised, Saturday, Richard Bland got a pretty decent tee time, fell back pretty significantly on Saturday, had a tough
Yeah.
go at it. The kind of unaffiliated twins, David Puig and Tom McKibben here. Interesting T50, T60, Tyrrell Hatton, T60, and then Sergio Garcia, T67. With Rom, Puig, and Garcia, we got three Spaniards dominating the live standing. So that was an interesting side note. But
Woo.
since I got him on the screen, and let's lighten it up just a little bit for a second. So I'm glad Tyrrell Hatton generally wears the hat, but I was sitting on the couch on Sunday morning, saw the man strolling in, thought I'd get some screenshots of
I told
Tyrrell's
you
hat.
this already.
I know, but so bad, bro. Hatton,
Look at this
my
shit.
guy,
Look
just
at this
just
shit.
shave it off, bro. You got the full beard. It's enough to compensate, but the hairline is crazy,
He
man.
already
It's
married. It's not like he out here spitting. He don't need to find nobody else. She love you for you, Tyrrell. Come on, bro.
right.
Seth
He's
Straka
got a
had more
nice.
hair on his. Seth Straka had more hair on the top of his head than Tyrrell has right now, and still was very ahead of the curve. Let me just say that.
Yes. Very much so. But at this point, like I said, guy's got a nice rounded head. Just take the razor to it, bro. Let it go.
All love, Terrell. All love, Terrell. But please be
We love him to
correct.
death, but he's got to let the hair dream go.
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
let's pull this one up next. Let's keep it light, blocky.
Liv ain't gonna have no long off season. They play, and then he gonna have some he gonna have some appearances to make. Then
Oh
they
yeah, and
start in
he's a
like
hustler.
January. Right, he
And
gonna
they're
be on DP World Tour, so he ain't got the time
yeah.
that Seb Straka do to really just sit out and go to Turkey. Maybe he makes that quick trip to Colombia though. Maybe he gets to get quick the cheaper route and goes
No,
to
just let it go.
Columbia.
Just let it. We can't forget. We can't unsee it. We it's kind of like LeBron when he got his procedure done. We already know what's happening there. You can't save it at this point. All right, let's go
LeBron went the
to.
cheap route. Bron went the cheap route because you see the top of his head is still very bald.
That's
Very.
true. Um.
Yeah,
So yeah,
DJ.
but
Mm.
DJ Blocky can always catch some strays with us. So last year, no. I want to say
Two
we had
years
a
now.
video that it's been a couple years. So the PGA Championship, Michael Block got quite a few invites after his showing at the PGA Championship. T15, spectacular weekend. I mean, the guy was on fire, but there were already some signs that, like, dude, I think I titled the video, Michael Block has flown too close to the sun. He's still
Yeah.
doing that, man. He's such, as my daughter and her friends would say, he's such a try hard. He is such a try hard. So quote, I love crowds. That's kind of the funny
Wait,
part is
wait,
I wish.
wait. Hold on, Rod.
What?
Let us preface this first by saying that he missed a cut, one, and two, was damn near last. Let's just say that.
Yeah, so let's not, it wasn't even close. He missed the cut by 14 strokes. I think he was plus
He
15
Yeah,
and the cut was
six
at
to
plus
last.
1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to last. My apologies. My
Yep.
apologies.
The
Okay,
the
now we can get into the
back
quote.
to the quote. The kind of the funny part is I wish there was a huge crowd on every hole because that's when I hit my shots. I really do. I always do. It's the weirdest thing. When there's no one around is when I hit my worst shots. That's something that I need more in my life is a bigger crowd. I just need to play a little bit better so it could happen. I could only imagine what would have happened if I would have been playing really good this week. Okay, I can imagine the same thing. Every time I go play around that I don't play my best, I can only imagine had I not three putted twice in my round or duffed that wedge. Like this is. Stop putting a mic in front of this man. Stop. Keep the microphones away from this man. He has lost the plot. It is so
Yeah.
ridiculous. This quote is beyond. I don't know. Like, and he
It's
doesn't say it ironically. That's the thing. This is a serious quote.
right. So my synopsis is it's just unfortunate that what happened, to be honest. Like if he would have lived his life and made a few cuts at the PP, at the professional playing championship, qualified in the top 20, made the PGA, made the cut, made him a few extra dollars, but hit that plus two, plus three, that T40, T50 number. We don't hear about this, bro. We don't hear about this. Michael Blockley lives on his life, gets a few more lessons, gets a few more, sponsor dollars because he did that.
Yeah.
Bro hit that top 10 2 years ago. He went to the what are we calling it now this year? The Dean. It was for 1 year. It was like the Dean and DeLuca or something, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh
It's in Fort
yeah.
Worth.
Oh yeah. The Colonial. What's it? This is the Colonial.
Thank you, the Colonial. Okay, so it's the Charles Schwab Challenge now. My apologies.
Yeah.
So he got the sponsors exemption last year or 2 years
No, it was
ago.
the
Two
same
years ago.
year. It was the same year. Yeah.
2023. Bro finished dead ass last, no cut made, shot over par, like 10 shots over par both
It
days.
it was bad. Yeah.
With crowds. Listen, with crowds. The people
At
were
the
out
height
there
of
to
his
see him
popularity. Yeah.
at the height of his popularity. Ain't nobody diminishing what Michael Blocky did. Bro hit a hole in one on a PGA major championship.
I mean, he hit incredible shots that week. You think about that up and down on 18.
He
I
did.
mean,
That flop shot was insane. And then
yeah,
drain
I
the
mean,
putt.
he caught magic in a bottle. But is that his
Right.
game every week? And I think we even saw some ridiculous quotes that year. And when he said something like, "If I had Rory's driver or the length of these guys out here, I would be a different player." Of course, of
Oh,
course.
oh
If
no, don't even bring that up. Cause I remember that. And I almost blew a gasket while we filmed, bro. I was so irate that he said that shit. Like, bro,
so,
you not practicing the shit you practice if you had Rory's distance.
right,
It, uh,
it's a different game. Okay, you're covering up your mic. You're messing up your sound. So yeah, I get it. You're running hot. It's horrible. I just wish that man would find some humbleness. And the last note, when I saw this screenshot, as we are the bearded bros, I'm gonna say that he should give up the beard and go with just a straight goatee. He doesn't have enough chin for the full beard.
the chin
Not
strap
chiseled
is not
enough.
his
So
look. Yeah, the chin strap is not his look. The neck beard is not a good look on anybody. I don't care who you are. Like, I mean, just look at Tom McKibben. He tried to do it, and it's just despicable. And now
right.
he's got the no chin goatee looking, and it's still pretty despicable. So
So
listen, know your face.
goatee, go yeah, goatee would be do him just fine. He's got enough density right there to make it work and look good. So that's my last note
Yeah.
from the Bearded Bros Golf Show. Let's rewind back to Rory's driver situation. I put together a slide for that just because I wanted to touch on it. Again, with him having to change out drivers, him and Scottie clearly having completely diametrically different results. Um, so this was the kind of the first blurb that I saw. I want to say it was late Friday, maybe early Saturday that I took this screenshot. Rory McIlroy had another tough day off the tee, and perhaps one reason for hitting only 10 out of 28 fairways over 2 rounds came from the news that developed late in the afternoon. So yeah, Friday. SiriusXM PGA Tour host was first to report this driver was tested and deemed not to fit to play under USGA regulations. So strokes gained again with the off the tee 36, approach to green 63. Again, he's playing out a lot of rough, bad angles. It just seemed out of sorts. Tee to green 42nd, putting 47th, driving accuracy T68, and he only hitting 46% of his fairways. Distance he's always gonna perform. But yeah, pretty abysmal off the tee.
Yeah.
Like you said, just felt out of sorts, and he looked miserable. Xander just looks like he's searching for his game. But honestly, just looking at the body language from Rory throughout the week, just didn't look great. Sunday, kind of in the almost the dew sweeper role, going out first. Just not a fun place to be in on the major. Of course, you want to, as a competitor, you want to be in contention. You want to be in those kind of final groups going out. So
Yeah.
rough week for Rory overall. Any other thoughts here before we move on?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the fact that he got his driver ban plus new driver plus the pressure. Man, bro, yeah, the pressure is off for the Grand Slam, but now that you are a Grand Slam winner and everybody thinks the pressure is off of you, the pressure to win is now tenfold. Like everybody
Yeah,
thinks your mind is cleared up, and it's like, yo, Rory, good to go. Now he gonna go on a tear, and he might, and the potential is still there. But you have got to realize that not only is he probably putting pressure on himself now that he has gotten over that hump, everybody else is looking at him too. And I don't,
Right.
and I am too. As a fan, as a golf
Yeah.
snob, I definitely want to see him go on a tear. I want to see him get to double digits. I want to see him really come up and be that solidified, cemented third best golfer to ever do it. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
he's got plenty of
Especially
years to accomplish that.
Yeah, especially when you show up to Quail Hollow where you just won last year. I think, what
Four-time
did they say?
winner
He's won
historically.
four. I was going to say five, but yeah, at least four that he's won at that location. And yeah, the fairways were probably a little bit tighter. The rough was grown up a little bit more than it was on a tour stop. But when you
True.
have that comfort level, we all have courses where we play and we're like, this is my spot. Like you
Right.
typically, you have the feels, you know the lines, you know where to miss. This feels like that type of course for him. So, I mean, yeah, the pressure was on. I mean, yes, some of it was relieved by winning the Masters, but again, you show up the following major in a place where you've had massive success. It almost feels expected to at least
It was too
compete,
good to
right?
be true. It was too good to be true. Let's just say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody expected him to win the Masters. We were expecting great things to happen at Quail Hollow.
Yeah.
Great things.
Yeah.
Not
He was
necessarily to win, but he was supposed to be contending.
Oh, I picked him to win. I had him as a
Oh,
win
I
just
know. I
because,
do remember that.
yeah, I had him to win at Quail Hollow. But like you said, I wasn't expecting to win at the Masters. And it's tough to go back to back.
Right.
So, I think that's when we're starting to see, we talked about this, um, some separation. So I'm very intrigued, for the rest of the last last two majors of the year, because we've seen Scottie kind of excel to that top tier, right? He is the guy. He is the person that everybody's chasing now, and then
Yeah.
there's the next tier. And who is that going to be? We thought it might be Xander, coming off of last year winning two majors. Rory's back in the mix, even though, again, he broke his 11-year drought this year. I want to see who can win multiple majors again within the same year, or a back to back majors, and assert themselves. We've had
Yeah.
way too much We've seen way too much parity where it's jumping around and you don't know from major to major. I want to see somebody say, I'm that guy. I'm that I'm that MFer that y'all need to come after. I think it's Scottie. I love, like I said, I'm falling slowly in love with Scottie's mentality, his approach to the game, just this simple way of living, everything about him. I'm becoming a big fan of his and rooting for his success. I feel like in a world where we're seeing Bryson spin up the public relations machine, he's doing his thing. I think Scottie is
Yeah.
just next
Scotty's very
level.
organic about his.
Absolutely. Um, Quick mention, and then I have another video that I queued up. I didn't have this in our show notes, but let's go over some other notable cuts, excluding the live guys. So Jordan Spieth, who there was some hype about him trying to get the career Grand Slam, no bueno, missed the cut. Jake Knapp as well. Sepp Straka, after his win last week. We've already talked about Shane Lowry. Akshay Bhatia, I didn't see him hit one shot over the week. JT, Justin Thomas, missed the cut as well. Ludwig Aubert, Hideki Matsuyama, Gary Woodland, Ricky Fowler. Shout out to Eugenio Chikara getting his first major under his belt. Unfortunately, did not play well. Sung J M, Jason Day, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Rose. A lot of notable names missed the cut, unfortunately. It was a tough Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, man.
Last one
Uh,
here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna run off the list a little bit. Spieth, not surprised. Jake Knapp, not surprised. Sepp Straka, still probably hungover. He said he went to Pain Valley, played one of his dream courses. Not surprised. Akshay Bhatia, kind of surprised because I feel like he's not really doing anything noticeable, but not doing anything dramatic enough to where it's like, yo, like he should make the cut. JT, he won his PGA at Quail Hollow, so I thought he would do better. Bro, Ludwig Aber, his swing is just not a lot that could go wrong with it. So it's just kind of confusing to see him miss cuts. Chikara, he coming back from the other side of the planet. Very understandable for him to miss the cut. Sung J M, another guy where I feel like it's just hard for bad things to happen with his swing. I feel like if anybody's in control of his swing, Sung J M is in control of his swing.
Right.
Jason Day,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Jason Day, no clue. Patrick Cantlay, no clue. Justin Rose, that honeymoon might be the quickest of all. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jay Rose catches lightning in a bottle like that ever again, brother. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he's getting up there in age, 43, 44.
43, 44.
It's hard to put it together for four days at a super high level when you got guys in their prime gunning at you, right? It's tough.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we saw we saw that with Johnny Vegas. Really
Oh my goodness.
solid first 2 days, right? Popped out on Thursday, held it together on Friday, but just could not have 4 explosive rounds in a row. That's tough. And again, he's getting up there in age as well. Johnny's been on the scene for quite some time. So
hey, listen, that pace of play got to that boy. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Boy played about 5:30. Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of waiting.
Man.
A lot of waiting.
He's not quick.
No. He's not.
He's not
I like him, but yeah. Luckily they had people playing slow all week. Another good call out here. Alex Noren seems like a great dude, man. But man, he's hard to watch on TV. That pre-shot is next level. Yeah, that routine is wild. Yo,
how do you rehearse a spin out? How do you rehearse that? Whoa.
That tightly tucked right elbow. They kept calling him the hardest worker in the game. All right, I'm a rage bait you a little bit here at the end. So Wyndham Clark, after winning his first major at LACC at the U.S. Open a couple of years ago, I want this man to just do better. We've talked about him being like the ultimate club tinkerer and just not sticking with anything long enough to see if it works. He's another guy in the GT lineup of drivers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Here's him losing his shit.
Title is through and through.
Yeah.
All right, Wyndham Clark had some anger in this swing. Oh.
Where did it go? Did it go behind him?
They're gonna show another angle. Just put it straight through.
Going to be using not driver.
So that was on hole number 15, and so yeah, he put out a statement today. I saw the video yesterday, but then he posted a statement. I would like to sincerely apologize for my behavior yesterday on hole 16. As professionals, we are expected to remain professional even when frustrated, and I unfortunately let my emotions get the best of me. My actions were uncalled for and completely inappropriate, making it clear that I have things that I need to work on. I hold myself to a high standard, trying to always play for something bigger than myself. And yesterday I fell short of those standards. For that, I am truly sorry. I promise to better handle that. I bet the way I handle my frustrations on the course going forward. And I hope you can all forgive me in due time. So for me, the biggest thing was the volunteers that were sitting back there right behind the club throw. So I'm going to get to this point in the video, and you can just see how many people are right there after the club toss. That's crazy.
Using not driver.
Yeah, man.
Listen, you've gone over this already, Mr. Clark. You've talked about your struggles mentally. I just felt like that was a very hollow and empty apology. You said a lot of the good things. You said a lot of good words. You hit all of the flashlight words, like, oh, boom, truly, sincerely apologize. I need to work on my behavior in due time. Hopefully you will forgive me. I hold myself in higher standards. You said all the bingo words.
Playing for something bigger.
Right. Now, brother, this not the first time we've seen you go off. This not the first time we've seen you frustrated with your game. So thank you. Not this you're a repeat offender at this point, brother.
Yeah.
If you're gonna throw the club, at least see, and I really wanted to be jovial about this, but that was just ridiculous. When the recoil
it's so over the top.
Right, you break the head off of the shaft, that's some speed. Now, if you one hand kind of slinging it down the fairway, and you just walk off the frustration, go pick up the driver, kindly hand it to your caddy afterwards, a little bit more acceptable, a little bit more funny. There's no excuse, there's no apology, there's no exception to this.
Imagine, like, we're talking about, I get it, high level athlete, hand-eye coordination's elite, but just one slip, like to the right, and that's literally into
Somebody's
like a human
hurt.
being. Yeah. Or
Somebody's hurt.
I know the head ended up going through the billboard there. So where did that go? Who was behind that? You know, like there could have been somebody directly behind that. It's just, there at no point in time is there a way where that's appropriate. It's kind of like when we saw Adam Hadwin earlier this year intentionally take a wedge to a sprinkler head, and where it just had to stop play because he smashed it 5 times. Like, get control of yourself. There's ways to express your anger on the golf course without causing physical damage to other things. It just is. There's better ways to handle it.
What an unprofessional crash out.
100%. So that's it from the main notes. Any other randomness from the PGA that caught your eye, or stories that you want to cover?
Boy, I thought we was finna not necessarily have a story, but I thought we was gonna have at least one more person to cheer for. But boy, that was short lived. One day up, one day back down. Max Homa.
True.
That's my dog,
true.
Bro. Man, golly. It felt like an easy 66-2 on day one. Easy.
Bring back Titleist FootJoy Max Homa with the Titleist
Real
clubs,
talk, bro.
Whatever money is in your pocket from Cobra, give it back. Figure out a way to get out of that contract. I know they're talking about swing stuff, but there's a reason that there's only 2 known Cobra players on tour. Gary Woodland and Max Homa are the only guys that are gaming Cobra irons and clubs on tour. Bro, I want to see old Max Homa back. I truly think it's the equipment.
It's going to take a year, bro. It's going to take a year for him to get acclimated to all this new Cobra Puma stuff, the Lululemon, all that stuff. Remember, these guys are at the highest level. They're so used to routine and regulation and the same old, same old. So for them to get something new, I know he's tilted. Because you
Yeah.
grinding it out and then going and being on TV and doing the same thing, completely different. You grinding it out at the crib, I can hit all the shots. My fade is
Yeah.
fading. I'm hitting all the positions. The yardage is great. I ain't got nothing to worry about. My home course, I know all the misses. I'm boom. Easy, 64, 65 or whatever.
Said he had found a feel. Saw him and
They did
his
so
swing
many
coach.
interviews on my man, bro. You
Yeah.
ain't see no more interviews after that.
No. So I'm rooting for him, but it's his first cut made since what, the Open last year?
Yeah,
Like literally like not making cuts in regular tournaments.
right.
Outside of like the elevated events where we're talking about no cut. But literally the man has been off for months and months at a time now. So yeah, I'm
What's
looking forward to
crazy
the
though,
Colonial. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to the Colonial. But what's crazy to me is it's I I still have a lot of faith in Max because to me, after the Torrey Pines event, the first one, not the reschedule, to
Yeah,
me,
not the Genesis.
right, not the Genesis. To me, what it felt like was what happened with Tiger. When you going through a swing overhaul and you say in a quote, I'm feeling good, the swing feels good, the results just aren't good. It lets me know that, you feel like you on the right track. You feel me? But when
Yeah.
you doing swing overhaul, new clubs, and the only thing remaining is your body and your putter, everything else new, brother, you got a long ways to go. So Tiger,
Yeah.
It took him all of '98. Now he not Tiger because Tiger's still gonna find a way to
No.
win all bullshit. But like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
but we'll see Max again in 2026. I think so. I think so.
Well, he's young. He's young. He's got time.
Right.
But moving forward, schedule wise, we got good stuff coming, and then we're gonna be at the
We
U.S.
have
Open.
so
I
much
mean,
great
like
golf.
Charles Schwab, which it looks like as of right now, Scotty's gonna be playing at home in the DFW
He's
area.
at the cribbo.
Um, coming off the win. Again, the work ethic is nuts. Has Scotty set out a signature event already this year? I want to
Yeah.
say he
Yeah.
has.
He did. He sat out
So,
the Truist, remember? He
yep.
won the
So
Byron
after that,
Nelson, sat out the Truist.
there's the Memorial. So we're gonna see Scotty 3 straight weeks in a row. Um, then the RBC Canadian Open, and then we're at the U.S. Open. The golf is not stopping.
We are fully in it.
Yeah, the stories of the PGA Tour's death have been highly over exaggerated. I don't know. Like I've been more excited to watch these tournaments. I feel like they're working out the schedule. Um, I love the back to back majors every month. Get it in, get it over with. It's going to be a heavy year. You mentioned Ryder Cup later this year. Discussions about Keegan Bradley possibly being a playing captain after going top 10 this week. A lot of
I was about to say
stuff
it's more and
happening.
more evident.
Yeah, I mean the guy's playing solid golf. Solid, solid
Yeah.
golf. Um, we got to always have some random NBA talk in here. Slow sports day today. No NBA.
Killing me, bro. I was looking
I
forward to
know.
coming home and catching some type of basketball.
I know.
None.
So we restart again tomorrow. What do you think about the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals? Who you rooting for to get to the finals? Who's your dream
These are
matchup this year?
none of these four, but I mean, God bless. God bless, bro.
I know you feel like there's too many floppers in the mix.
This is just too disgusting. But like, I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to happen between two teams that we didn't see making it through. I mean, li- listen, let's keep it 100. I ain't think Boston was going to give up the draws to New York, and I for sure didn't think Cleveland was going to give up the draws to Indiana. But
Cleveland don't have
nostalgic
the
one
heart, bro.
at all,
After,
bro. He ain't got
after
it.
all that sitting, all the little complaining, Darius Garland. I used to really root for Darius Garland. I thought he balls, but weak sauce, bro.
I mean, if you giving it to me between them two, I'll take New York out of them two. Give me New
Out of
York.
okay,
Now, the oh my God King, he's got to relax, but hopefully Jalen Brunson puts in a little work. I always enjoy Josh Hart, OG Ananobi, Mikael Bridges.
what?
What?
What? Those are words that have never been said by any other human about Josh
What?
Hart. What?
He's a gritty player. He's a hard worker.
All right, bro.
He's a now he's a try harder that actually gets results. You feel me?
I get you.
And
I
then
get you.
we just gotta hope and pray that Ant and Randall and all the West and all the rest of the YNs do what they supposed to do versus OKC and thug it out up there. I don't
Yeah,
see
I'm
it
I'm rooting
happening.
for I'm rooting for Ant though, man.
I'm rooting for Ant. Real talk.
They're the underdog. They don't have as much talent, but I think this is that next level. Can he take over a series and just
Right.
go crazy? You know, put
Will
a
he
team
get
on his
tired
back.
again?
It's true. I mean, his diet. I know he's young, but
He
we
gonna have
know
to
the
put
man.
Sprite and hot Cheetos down, bro.
The man eats like my 11-year-old. It's kind of ridiculous that
No,
he has
literally.
not found nutrition at this point.
Literally. Truly. So yeah.
But
Oh, hopefully Minnesota, New York, we'll see that in the finals. But I don't know. We'll have to see. OKC,
we'll
Minnesota is
see.
tomorrow night.
We'll see it. I'm hoping I can luck up on some Colonial tickets. I'm sure not buying them on my own, but
No,
I know enough. I know enough folks that get a
not for that
corporate
drive.
hookup or something. No, it's not even that bad of a drive. I don't mind going to Fort Worth, but um, we're gonna be warm this weekend. We're touching 90 on the weekend, so
Same.
it's gonna be a bit of a cooker. So that's not a fun walk. That course is pretty spread out. So anyway,
Fort
always
Worth
good
is
to watch
ass,
on
y'all.
TV. Say that again.
I said Fort Worth is ass, y'all.
Whatever. As an
Great
adult, I have
golf.
come. As they do have, I'm probably gonna play Rockwood in like 2 weeks, but um, as an adult, I have come to appreciate Fort Worth more than I did as a child, for sure, or even as a teenager. So
Yeah.
anyway, great course. A couple of years after the remodel or the kind of renovation that they underwent last year, it was in semi-rough shape. Some of the fairways and areas were a little bit janky, so it'll probably look really good on TV. We've gotten a lot of rain, not too crazy on the heat yet, so courses in DFW are looking, I mean, like A1 right now. So
Lush.
Colonial's going to look great on TV. It's going to be a good tournament. Can Scottie win 3 in a row? We'll see. The man's finding his game, and that's a good spot for him. So,
Yeah.
Peter Bros Golf Show. Appreciate y'all hanging with us today. All PGA Championship. It was fun, just kind of focusing in on that, and we'll be back at it again, of course, next week. I am Rod.
I am Marcus.
See y'all
LPGA.
later.
PGA. Hey, listen. Hold up.
Okay.
the PGA champions, them old men got out there and Angel Cabrera won. We just throw that out there. I
Shout out
will say I
to
did.
El Pato.
Yeah, I did not watch it. It came on Sunday on TV. Jerry
Right.
Kelly was leading, and I was like, I do not know. I do not want to see him win. Turn that shit right the fuck back off. So quick.
I honestly, I had a personal, even though it was on quite a bit, I thought it was super disrespectful that I know the
Super.
PGA runs both the champions and, of course, the big boy young man league. But I was like, how disrespectful is it for y'all's major to come at the same week? It was weird.
Garbage.
So
Garbage. All right.
anyway,
Bye.
get your yawning ass off my screen. All right, y'all. Catch y'all next week.